What is going on, everybody? Good morning. Ethan and I are in the Mustang right now. We are headed to Cars and Coffee of the Woodlands. It's a nice little show. It's not nearly as wild as the Houston Cars and Coffee. You can kind of actually walk around and not bump into everybody there. You can see the cars a little bit better. It's a nice show. Nothing against the one downtown, but we just didn't feel like going and messing with the wildness that was down there yesterday, especially too with, they were going to have what, the Revuelto out there?
Yeah, they were going to reveal the Revuelto, so there's going to be a lot of people.
Yes, and please excuse the camera work because I'm trying to hold my phone in one hand while I'm sitting stationary, because you wouldn't ever want to vlog while driving. Ethan and I ended up going to another car show, went and grabbed the Corolla. That way he could cruise in with me and have a little bit of fun. Stopping to get gas now. This thing isn't really bad on gas until you really start getting into it, and then it guzzles it like crazy. And right now it's summer, so of course gas prices are going up here in Texas. And 93 is $4.59 a gallon. It was like $3.99 not that long ago, and even less than that like 2 months ago. So it's not going to be fun driving any of these vehicles, because the Raptor, the Corolla, and oh man, the ST, man, all four of my cars, they all use premium. So it's going to be an expensive summer. Fantastic. Well, I'm sure you can tell by now, since we've been cruising from car show to car show in this thing all day, the car is finally back from the shop. So they did quite a bit of work to the car. It was gone for, I want to say, 4 to 5 weeks, possibly. What they did is they replaced this whole rear bumper, as that was damaged. All this rear valance was fine, so none of that had to be replaced. The rear deck lid panel was replaced, as well as the deck lid itself. This over here had a massive dent in it, which I thought they would have to cut out the whole quarter to replace. They actually didn't. They were able to pull that out. So with all that said and done, they repainted the rear bumper, the deck lid, the quarter, as well as the quarter over fender. All of that was done through insurance. But on my half, I went ahead and had them paint the rear spoiler. Over on the passenger side, they did this quarter as well as the quarter over fender. Then they did the roof and all the way through to the A-pillar, as that's all one piece with the quarter panel. So all of that is fresh paint on the vehicle. Back here, we still have to install our gurney flap. I had an extra one laying around here, so I wanted to make sure that I put that on there. The only thing that I wasn't really happy with is this right here on the deck lid panel. You can see around the R for the RTR logo, it looks kind of choppy and shoddy, but I think that's a split between them and RTR in terms of blame, because the original 10th anniversary deck lid panel, that cut file had lines in here to go with the line of the deck lid badge, which wasn't included in the file that got sent there. So this actually doesn't fit correctly, but I'm probably going to have this removed and painted on here as well. And you'll notice I don't have the stripes on here. That's because I want to have that painted on as well. I just really want to have this whole thing be very, very premium, because that's what the car is. Insurance for all these repairs, I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $8,000, $9,000. I don't remember correctly, But for my half of getting all that other stuff that I pointed out that I had paid, that came out to be about $4,500. The rear window and this quarter window already had to be taken out to have this repainted. They had to take out the other quarter window. And then to get the A-pillar and the roof all painted, they went ahead and they took out the front glass. And you can see that this here isn't a factory glass. That's because down in one of these corners here, there was a chip. And if they were to remove that, it would have shattered the whole front windshield. So $500 of that was to take care of that windshield. For the other $4,000, $2,000 of that went into labor, and a lot of that was actually due to my fault. If you look up front here, you can see how crappy this paint is. That's because if you have never watched my first channel, J-Dub Wrenching, I actually tried to paint this car in that garage. Now, if you've ever painted a car, the actual painting of the car, yes, there is an art to it, but if you're doing basic colors, isn't that bad as long as you have your setup right. But part of that setup is making sure that you're able to keep the dust and the dirt out and modulate that temperature or control that temperature, which I couldn't do here. And that led to this being a shit job. So they had to pull off this wrap that I went ahead and put over it. As you can see, a lot of the paint was coming up with it. And then they had to sand down all of the previous work that I did. So a lot of that came from the work that they had to go and do because I thought I knew what I was doing. Now, this all made for great content and I was able to make a few videos out of it, but was it really worth the $2,000 or the remainder of what I'm gonna have to pay to have the front done? I don't know. It was an experience, right? When we do take the car back to have the rest of it painted, I'm gonna go ahead and remove all of the wrap and I'll sand down any of the bad spots that I can. I don't want to get too much into it because they know what they're doing and I'll let them do it. For the time being, this is how it's going to be. I'll probably have the hood, the fenders done here relatively soon. But as for the front bumper, that'll probably stay like that for a little bit because I do have some track days that I want to do, and that is going to take a beating. And the last thing I want to do is go and pay for this thing to get painted and then have to go through and pay to have it fixed. But it is very, very nice having this car back. I have missed it so much. So the last couple of days getting able to cruise it around, I have enjoyed it so much. We do have some track days, like I said, I want to do with this. We do have to solve a couple of issues with the overheating or the heat soak of this engine, but that'll be in another video and maybe on the other channel, unless you guys want to see that right here. In the next video, we are going out to Lone Star Rallycross for our final Rallycross. Not for the entire year or forever, but for the next 3 or 4 months, because it gets really hot here in the summer. We don't want to be out there running, doing corner work and all that, dealing with cars overheating. So for at least Lone Star, they take a break from July into the end of September. And I won't be there in September because I have other events going on with RTR. So my next Rallycross event with them is probably not going to be until October. I might have one more here in Houston, but we're going to be taking a break. So I'll show you guys that event, and then we'll also do a breakdown of the car. We'll assess the thing and see, hey, what kind of damage have I done to this brand new $50,000 GR Corolla, just to go out and have a little bit of fun. But that, again, is for a later one. So make sure you go ahead and like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of those videos. And until the next one, peace.